If you're waking up inside a high control religion, it can feel confusing. Asking questions about what you were taught doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you were thinking. If you need support while coming out of a high control religion, visit xjwfriends.com. You don't have to do this alone.
Good evening,
Hello.
everyone.
Waking up inside a high
Sorry.
control religion.
I turned my YouTube down. Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Hope everybody's doing well. Maybe enjoying some better weather, a little better weather, changed weather.
Yeah, it's finally
A
warming
little
up
warmer
here. Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah. Well, we still got some things going on around the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's a lot of things happening right now. Most of them you can't control.
Mm.
And so tonight is the theme is how to transform.
Mm-hmm.
And that means how to transform maybe ourselves, because we really can't transform too much of anything else, except the things that are in our control, in our personal control, which is what we usually fail to do, or at least are distracted from doing, because there's usually forces around us, or institutions or people around us that don't want us to transform. We can talk more about that later, but the little bit of video that we're going to see will kind of
Mm-hmm.
it'll show a little bit of what it means for the earth that we live on, what it goes through in making changes. Because everything that we've experienced with the earth it goes through changes. Here we're talking about changes in weather, seasonal changes. There are different seasons that transition into each other. We really have no control over that. Some would say we have a lot of control, had a lot of control over that. That's not here, neither here nor there. The point is there's
Did you want to show the video first, or did you want to go to the birthdays first? You say, or do the birthdays later? What do you want to do?
birthdays first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's a new month, the month of March.
Yeah.
And we have some new birthdays. So our birthdays are listed on our website, XJW Friends. It's all one word. And we started out where we were giving the birthdays every week, but then we cut back to once a month at the beginning of the month.
Mm.
And now we're just going to leave it up on XJW Friends.
Yeah.
So anybody can go to it at any time. It'll be there on XJW Friends. So please go there.
Yeah.
Okay?
So basically, if we can remind you of each other's birthdays, you can too.
Yeah.
Because they're all there, and this way you get to make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you remind whoever you want of their birthday,
Yeah.
and it's there.
And if you want their contact information, I'll get permission from them, and you can wish them a happy birthday personally.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So March 1st
That was
was
mine.
Joe Garino and Wendy Davis. March 2nd,
Friends.
and Shauna.
Yes.
Shauna, Martin Ha, and mine. You want to take turns?
Yes. I put my glasses on.
Okay, so March 3rd.
March 3rd, Stefan.
Yeah,
Stefan.
Stefan's listening. Happy
Stefan.
birthday.
And then
March 5th, Indira Macko Brown. and Kathleen Johnson.
March 7th, Penny Tarrant and Alora.
March 8th, Trevor.
And March 10th, Johnny Perkins, Linda Lawton.
March 11th, Leo Rosenthal.
March 12th, XJW Joy and Patty Wall.
March 13th, Natasha Garfield.
March 14th, Monica Vasquez.
March 15th, Joseph Gallion.
And March 16th, Lindsay Garfield, Lindsay Slatt, and Monica Velen Rodriguez.
March 17th, Stephanie Lynn Carson.
March 18th, Doris Melsheimer and Karina Harding, and Heather, who is Gail's daughter.
March 19th, Debbie Rivera, Melissa King, Trisha B. Dow, and Kim Brooks.
March 20th, Howdy Pa and Mabel Smith.
March 21st, Sarah Hicks Beck, Anna, and Vince Sardo.
March 21st, Sarah Hicks Beck.
I think I just did
excuse
that.
me.
Okay.
It sounded familiar. March 22nd, Michaela Abraham.
And March 23rd, Nero.
March 24th, Jim Ocker, Kelly Eckerman, Gianna Grassi, and Eric Potter.
March 25th, Randy Eckerman and Dana Colicchio.
And March 26th, Pete Manning, Brittany, Nicole, and Connor Marson.
March 27th, Michelle Ragoza and Billy Wanda Wiggs.
March 28th, Justin Fiorenzio and Roberto Angelis Lira.
March 29th, Wes Bolish, Dinah Lost husband.
March 30th, Kumi Wellman.
And March 31st, Jimmy Bumpus. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, all.
March
Everyone.
birthdays.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anniversaries? I don't know if we had any anniversary. Oh, yeah, we do. Okay.
In March, anniversaries. March 16th, Jonathan and Christine Murphy.
March 27th, Jared and June Nicholson.
March 28th, Randy and Kelly Eckerman.
Happy
Happy
anniversary.
anniversary.
Okay, upcoming events. We know we have an upcoming event May 31st. We are having a large, upcoming events. Okay. Can you make it a little bigger, Shauna, please? Are we in March? Was that March? That's up there? Yeah, March 8th.
March
Is that March
5th.
Oops, wait a minute.
March
March
5th.
5th. Thank you. Dylan's Zoom meetup. That's Dylan from our website.
Right. And the 16th, the Liberati Book Club Review.
And the March 21st, Fear to Freedom Empowering XJW Conference in Birmingham, UK.
United Kingdom. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not up there yet, but we're having one in May. It's too soon. But just heads up, May 31st, we're having our big barbecue. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you all. Just a couple other announcements while we're doing announcements. Gail, Gigi, said to mention that Connor came home, her nephew. He's home from the hospital. And also her daughter, Heather, was released, and she's now in a halfway home. So both good news for Gail. I think that was it.
Yeah. So, and again, enjoy your birthdays and enjoy sharing birthday celebrations with whoever you'd like. And let us know if there's any more that we don't have.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's on the website, xjwfriends.com. And that website is filled with all kinds of things. If you know anyone, please share it with them. There's therapists and life coaches that have all been Jehovah's Witnesses. It's probably the only website with just XJW therapists and life coaches. So they know what it's like to go through what we've been through, all of us. We are also on Discord. Check out Discord. There's many folks there. It's a little more private. And we are on TikTok. We have short videos on TikTok. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Okay. And we do try to respond. Oh, and our short videos that we do sometimes during the week. And we do try to respond to all the comments. So please forgive us if we missed your comment. But a lot of people out there are looking for support. You know, they lost their grandparents or their parents. And people that have never been Jehovah's Witnesses or don't know what it's like to be shunned, when we tell them, it's hard for them to imagine. We said, imagine never speaking to your grandchildren, having no contact with your grandchildren. And people find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, we really don't know how to respond to that. Yeah.
We were in a shoe store yesterday and we were talking with someone, and come to find out one of her relatives was a Jehovah's Witness. And she said, oh yeah, they don't celebrate holidays and stuff like that, but she didn't really understand all of the shunning practices. And I think she does a little better now after we spoke to her.
And that may be something that changes too. But not noticeably right away. It may be something where the later generations don't even know what someone's talking about if they mention shunning, because the watchtower will have sidestepped it and just kind of erased it and from their history, as if they really weren't responsible for it. I'm sure they'll even figure out a way to make it seem like its members, the people, were the ones that were overzealous with doing that.
And what I tell people too is that they had to be given permission to talk to their disfellowshipped family.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not because they wanted to. Well, they probably wanted to, but now the only reason they talk to their disfellowshipped relatives is because they were given permission, just like they were given permission to grow beards, to wear slacks, and whatever, to clink glasses and whatever other ones they're going to come up with. But they had to get permission.
Yeah.
And that is just so controlled. It's just,
why would someone be willing to enter into that kind of restrictions, that kind of basically enslavement? Why would they be willing to? You know, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they would. There's also a reason why so many people are choosing to leave there.
Yes.
And they are, and you are, and we're glad you are.
Yes, we have new ones every day that are leaving, so that is really good.
Yeah.
Good news.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, Happy Thought says the apostates are blamed for it, but Watchtower literature proves otherwise. Yeah, they're going to blame apostates for everything and anything.
But the reality is, us apostates, the ones that are out, the X's, and how vocal we are, their reaction basically is just about, you can say, steering the changes that are taking place in the organization.
Yeah, we were out to dinner on Monday, and we purposely went to this restaurant because we knew there was an XJW there, and we knew her when we were in the congregation, and we hadn't seen her or talked to her since she left. And she came over to our table and talked to us, and she was just saying how, and she's a younger person, and how what's the word? You know, they say one thing, but they do another. And that just really bothered her, that they were being critical of her when she wasn't even doing anything. And they were saying, basically lying about her. She says, well, if they're going to say that about me, I'm going to go out and do it. You know, make it happen. And she couldn't stand that people were doing that, you know,
Yeah.
saying one thing but doing another. So people are leaving for all different kinds of reasons.
Yeah. So grateful that, and we're glad that the people that have come out are connecting with each other and providing the kind of support for each other that we all need, and the kind of support that you need. And it's in your hands. It's not, no one has to grant it to you. No one has to administer it to you. You have the opportunity to connect with each other once you know basically where they are, who they are, and that's something that we felt would be helpful, and that's why we've done what we've done, and we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
You're the support for each other, and we see that, and that's an inspiration to us.
Yeah.
To see that as bad as people can treat each other and be for each other in the organization, the opposite is how good they are for each other outside.
Yeah. Oh, and I was just thinking, that made me think of, we truly appreciate the comments and the live chat and how you keep it very positive, and you don't downgrade people or say negative things about people, because people have feelings. People have been hurt in this organization, and they're very sensitive, and even to ones that have left. So we appreciate you keeping your comments very, very positive, and I'll use the word upbuilding, because that's what you do. And we appreciate that.
Well, respectful is what it boils
respectful
down to.
Yeah, that's right.
The organization taught people how to basically disrespect anyone that had different beliefs.
Right.
And we all have to be careful that as we leave and are out, that we don't take that judgmental, self-exalted kind of attitude away. We have to be very mindful of that. And those things go deep sometimes into our subconscious, and then they surface sometimes when we're not thinking or we're not being mindful.
That kind of goes along with the video we're going to show tonight about transforming.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the video now?
Let's do it.
Sean, if you got the video up, it's only 20 minutes, and see what you gain from it. You may not agree with everything.
No, you don't
have to agree.
You don't have to agree with everything. Just consider it.
That's all.
In the next 48 hours, the most important window of this entire year opens and closes, and most people will walk right through it without realizing what they have just lost. What happened on March 3rd was not an ordinary full moon. It was a total lunar eclipse at 12 degrees of Virgo, the last total lunar eclipse the sky will produce for nearly 3 years. For 58 minutes, the Earth swallowed the moon whole and turned it the color of old blood. And in that hour, something inside you was shaken loose. You felt it. That strange heaviness behind your ribs. The 3 a.m. awakening. The face that flashed through your mind that you have not thought about in years. But here is what almost no one is telling you. The eclipse itself was not the main event. The real shift happens now, March 4th and 5th. These 48 hours are the corridor between who you were and who you are about to become. And there are things you must not do in this corridor. Decisions you must not make. Words you must not speak. Because the ground beneath your feet has not yet settled. In the next few minutes, you will discover 3 things. First, what the eclipse actually loosened inside your body and your life, and why you can still feel it vibrating in your bones. Second, the specific actions you must avoid on March 4th and 5th, and why even one wrong move in this window could set you back months. Third, and this is the part that changes everything, the ancient practice of conscious release that turns this cosmic disruption into the most powerful reset you have experienced in years. If you have been feeling like something is ending, but you cannot name what it is, if your sleep has been fractured and your dreams unusually vivid, if old memories are surfacing like shipwrecks after a storm, stay here, because what I am about to share with you is not something you will hear anywhere else. And the clock on this window is already running. In the early hours of March 3rd, while most of the Western Hemisphere slept, the Earth stepped between the sun and the moon and cast its shadow across the lunar surface for 58 minutes. This was not a partial graze. This was not a subtle dimming. The moon disappeared entirely into the umbra, the deepest core of Earth's shadow, and emerged stained the color of dried copper. A total lunar eclipse at 12 degrees and 54 minutes of Virgo, sitting directly on the south node of the moon, the celestial point that ancient astrologers called the dragon's tail, the point of release, the point of severance, the point where the cosmos reaches into your life and pulls away what no longer belongs to you. Not gently, not with warning, with the quiet, surgical certainty of a tide that knows exactly what it came to collect. And this was not just any eclipse in the sky's long memory. This was the 5th eclipse in a series of 7 along the Virgo-Pisces axis, a cycle stretching nearly 2.5 years that has been rewriting the contract between your daily reality and your spiritual truth. Every eclipse in this series has asked you a question. This one demanded an answer. But here is where most people misunderstand eclipses. They think the moment of totality is the moment of transformation. They think when the moon turns red, the shift is happening. That is like believing the earthquake is the moment the tectonic plates move. It is not. The plates have been grinding for months, sometimes years. The earthquake is simply when the surface finally cracks. March 3rd was the crack. March 4th and 5th are when the dust rises and you see for the first time what is actually broken. Right now, as you listen to this, Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, the planet that governs your thoughts, your contracts, your conversations, your decisions, is walking backward through the most dissolving sign in the zodiac. And Mars, the planet of action, entered Pisces on March 2nd, just one day before the eclipse. Think about what that means. The planet that rules how you act and the planet that rules how you think are both submerged in the same ocean, both moving through fog, both whispering to you that clarity is available when it is not yet. And this is the dangerous part. Because fog does not announce itself. It simply makes everything look softer than it actually is. This is exactly why March 4th and 5th are so dangerous for certain decisions. Your impulse right now is to act. The eclipse shook something loose and every cell in your body wants to grab it, name it, fix it, or throw it away. That impulse feels like strength. It feels like clarity, but it is neither. It is the aftershock disguised as resolution. There are specific things you must not do in this 48-hour window, and I need you to hear this carefully. Do not end a relationship. Do not start one. The emotional field around you right now is flooded with eclipse residue, and what you feel about another person today is not what you will feel about them in 2 weeks. The moon has moved into Libra, the sign of partnerships and balance, but Libra, after an eclipse, is not the diplomat it usually is. It is the mirror. And mirrors in unstable light show distorted reflections. If someone's face keeps appearing in your mind, whether with longing or with rage, that is the eclipse talking, not your wisdom. Write the name down, fold the paper, put it somewhere you will not see it, and wait. Do not sign anything. Do not commit to a new contract, a new lease, a new agreement. Mercury retrograde in Pisces has blurred the fine print so thoroughly that what looks like an open door may be a painted wall. The details you are missing right now are not small details. They are the kind that resurface in 3 months and make you whisper to yourself, "How did I not see this?" Do not make a permanent decision about your career. The eclipse fell in Virgo, the sign that governs your work, your daily rituals, your sense of purpose through service. If you have been feeling restless in your job, if you have been questioning whether this is really what you are meant to do, that restlessness is real. It is valid. But the answer is not available yet. The eclipse cracked the surface. What lies beneath has not yet been fully revealed. Acting now is like reading a letter before the ink has dried. You will see words, but they will not be the right ones. Wait for the ink to set. The message will be worth the patience. And do not, under any circumstances, try to go back to something you have already released. This is the trap that catches more people than any other during a South Node eclipse. The dragon's tail does not give back what it has taken. If a habit fell away, if a belief crumbled, if a version of yourself died in the last 72 hours, it died for a reason. The temptation to resurrect it will be overwhelming. You will convince yourself it was not that bad. You will remember the comfort and forget the cost. But the South Node is not cruel. It is precise. What it removes was already dead. You were simply still carrying the weight of its bones. Now let me tell you what is actually happening inside your body, because your body understood this eclipse long before your mind caught up. In the days surrounding a total lunar eclipse on the South Node, the body begins a process that ancient healers described as the loosening of old roots. You may have noticed a heaviness in your chest that has no medical explanation, a tightness in your jaw that arrives at night and disappears by morning, a sudden ache in your lower back, the part of the spine that carries the weight of everything you refuse to put down. These are not random symptoms. Your nervous system is responding to a gravitational and electromagnetic shift that modern science measures, but rarely discusses in public. During totality, when the moon sat entirely inside Earth's shadow, the tidal electromagnetic interaction between the moon and the Earth's ionosphere shifted in a way that happens only during total eclipses. Your body, which is mostly water, which is governed by the same tidal forces that move the oceans, responded. Not metaphorically, physically. The fluid in your inner ear shifted. Your pineal gland, the tiny pine cone-shaped organ at the center of your brain that regulates your sleep cycle, received a different signal. And for many of you, the result was the same. You woke up between 2 and 4 in the morning. You stared at the ceiling, and something inside you knew, without words, without logic, that a chapter had ended. That knowing is the most important thing you have right now, more important than any decision, more important than any action. Because that knowing is not coming from your thoughts. It is coming from somewhere much older, much deeper, from the part of you that existed before you learned to doubt yourself. But the eclipse did not just loosen what needs to leave. It also illuminated what has been hiding. And this is where March 4th and 5th become not just a warning, but a gift. The Virgo eclipse did not simply shake the tree. It turned a light on inside the roots. And what that light revealed is something you have been avoiding, perhaps for months, perhaps for years. The thing you keep telling yourself you have dealt with. The conversation you rehearse in your mind but never speak aloud. The promise you made to yourself at 3 in the morning 6 months ago that you quietly broke by sunrise. Virgo is the sign of discernment. Not judgment, discernment. There is a vast difference. Judgment closes its eyes and declares a verdict. Discernment opens its eyes wider and sees what is actually there. And at 12 degrees of Virgo, conjunct the South Node, this eclipse opened your eyes to the precise spot where you have been lying to yourself with the most beautiful language. We all do it. We wrap our avoidance in words like patience. We call our fear wisdom. We dress our stagnation in the robes of spiritual surrender and tell ourselves we are waiting for divine timing, when the truth is we are terrified of what happens if we actually move. This eclipse saw through every costume. And now, in this 48-hour corridor of March 4th and 5th, the costumes are lying on the floor, and you are standing in front of a mirror with nowhere to hide. This is uncomfortable. It should be. Comfort was never the currency of transformation. The ancient Babylonian astronomers, who tracked eclipses with a precision that still astonishes modern scholars, had a practice during eclipse aftermaths that has been largely forgotten. They called it the silent audit. For 2 days following a major lunar eclipse, the temple priests would enter a period of complete stillness. No decrees were issued, no wars were declared, no marriages were arranged. Not because they feared the sky, but because they understood something that our rushing, noise-filled world has forgotten. The hours after an eclipse are when the truth speaks, but it speaks in a whisper, and you cannot hear a whisper if you are shouting. They knew that stillness was not the absence of power, it was the condition for receiving it. This is your silent audit. These 48 hours are not a pause because you are weak. They are a pause because you are wise enough to listen before you leap. So what is the eclipse asking you to release? Not in general terms, not as a philosophical concept. Specifically, in the bones of your daily life. For those of you with strong Virgo energy in your chart, whether your sun, your rising, or your moon sits in this sign, the eclipse landed directly on your sense of self. The mask you have been wearing is not the kind others can see. It is the mask you wear for yourself. The relentless inner voice that says you must be perfect to be worthy, that every detail must be controlled, that one mistake erases 100 victories. That voice took a direct hit on March 3rd, and right now it is scrambling to reassemble itself. Do not help it. Let it stay on the floor. You were never meant to live under that tyranny. For Pisces, the eclipse illuminated the opposite point of your chart, the axis of service and surrender. You have been giving so much of yourself to others that you have forgotten what your own hunger feels like. Not physical hunger, soul hunger. The kind that asks, what do I actually want when no one is watching, when no one needs me, when I am not performing my own goodness? This eclipse is not punishing your generosity. It is asking you to include yourself in the circle of people you are willing to save. Gemini and Sagittarius, the other mutable signs, are caught in the crossfire of this axis. For Gemini, the eclipse pressed on your fourth house, the foundation of your inner world. Something about your home, your roots, your family lineage is being restructured, not destroyed, restructured. The difference matters. A wall coming down inside an old house is only a disaster if you were planning to live in it forever. If you were planning to rebuild, that wall needed to come down first. For Sagittarius, the eclipse activated your 10th house, the peak of your public life and ambition. A role you have been playing in the world is expiring, not your purpose, the role. And the space between who you pretend to be professionally and who you actually are has become too wide for the universe to ignore. Something must close that gap, and it will not be the universe that bends. But here is the part that transforms this eclipse from a disruption into a doorway. The moon, after passing through the shadow, did not stay in Virgo. It moved forward. And on March 4th, it crossed into Libra, the sign of the scales, the sign of balance, the sign that asks one elegant and devastating question. What is the true weight of what you are carrying, and is it yours to carry it all? This is not a rhetorical question. I want you to sit with it as if someone placed a stone in each of your hands and asked you to tell the difference between the one that belongs to you and the one that was handed to you by someone else's expectation. Because many of you are carrying grief that is not yours, ambition that is not yours, guilt that was placed on your shoulders before you were old enough to spell the word. The Libra moon on March 4th is the cosmic scale that helps you weigh each stone and decide, with full authority, which ones to set down. And the moon does not stop there. By March 5th, it begins to square Jupiter in Cancer, the planet of expansion sitting in the sign of emotional depth and ancestral memory. This square is not gentle. It stretches you. It asks whether the beliefs you inherited from your family, the ones woven so deeply into your identity that you mistake them for your own thoughts, are actually serving the life you are trying to build. Jupiter in Cancer has been retrograde since November, turning inward, digging through the emotional basement of your lineage. And now, just days before it stations direct on March 10th, it sends one final tremor through the foundation. If something cracks, it was already fractured. Jupiter does not break what is whole. It only reveals what was pretending to be. And sometimes, that revelation is the most generous thing the sky can offer you. This is why I said at the beginning that March 4th and 5th are not just about what you must avoid. They are about what you must finally see. Here is what I want you to do. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Before you sleep, before the noise of the ordinary world fills your ears again, take a single piece of paper, not a device, not a glowing surface, a real piece of paper. Feel its weight between your fingers, and write one sentence. Only one. Begin it with the words, "The truth I have been avoiding is," and then let your hand finish the sentence without editing, without thinking, without making it beautiful. Whatever comes out, do not read it tonight. Fold the paper once. Place it somewhere still, beside your bed, beneath a glass of water, on a windowsill where the morning light will reach it. Sleep. Let the eclipse residue continue its work inside your dreaming mind. And when you wake on March 5th, read what you wrote. Read it slowly. Read it the way you would read a letter from someone who loves you enough to tell you the truth. That sentence is the seed of everything that comes next. Because what the eclipse loosened, only you can release. The cosmos cracked the door, but you are the one who walks through. Now, there is a practice for this window, a way to move through these 48 hours not as a victim of cosmic disruption, but as someone who understands the ancient art of conscious release. And this practice is built on a very specific structure, one day at a time, one layer at a time. Because the body cannot release everything at once, any more than the earth can thaw in a single afternoon. On the night of March 5th, when the last tremor of this eclipse has passed through your chest and settled into the quiet spaces between your ribs, you will feel something you have not felt in a very long time. Not excitement, not relief, something older than both. A stillness that does not need to be filled, a silence that is not empty, but complete. This is what remains when you stop carrying what was never yours. This is the sound of a life that has been stripped back to its truest architecture. No ornament, no disguise, just the raw, breathing foundation of who you actually are. Most people will move through these 48 hours without pausing. They will check their messages. They will make decisions from fear dressed as urgency. They will pick up the very stones the eclipse asked them to set down and tuck them back into their pockets, because the weight has become so familiar it feels like safety. Do not be most people. You did not find this video by accident. Something in you recognized the signal before your mind could name it. The eclipse asked you one question. Not what do you want, not where are you going, but what are you finally willing to put down? That question will echo through the rest of this year. It will tap you on the shoulder in your quietest moments, when the world has gone still enough for truth to speak without competition. And the answer you give, not in words but in action, will determine which version of your life you are living by December. Remember this. The heaviest chains are not the ones others place on you. They are the ones you refuse to remove because you have forgotten they are not part of your body. If something moved inside you while you listened, write it in the comments. Not for me, for the stranger who will scroll down tonight and find in your words the exact permission they needed to let go. If someone's face came to mind, someone who is carrying weight they cannot name, send them this video. It may be the only mirror they see this week. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the coming days I will walk you through the deep integration process this eclipse has set in motion. And what I will share with you about the post-eclipse window will reshape how you move through the rest of this month.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure there's some people that might be familiar with these things. Some that aren't familiar at all with these things. But the fact is, every one of us, every single one of us stands in position in front of it. The eclipse. Everyone. It's not like, well, I don't prefer it, or I don't believe it, or I don't whatever. It really doesn't matter, because you can't get away from it. We literally, everything, every person on earth is part of this physical transformation that's taking place. I mean, it's a physical occurrence. It's unlike the seasons, which go about in an order, a repeating, pretty much precise order, where you expect something the next day, and it comes, like the sun rising and setting and rising again and setting. This is a whole change. Oh, and of course, throw in the moon. The moon does this, it does that. Now, all of a sudden, at these points in time, all of a sudden, something very unusual happens. Very unusual. And You didn't bring it about any more than I brought it about. But yet it's there. It's over us. We're part of it, whether we like it or not. And what you think of it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what you think of it, because it doesn't change it a bit. It doesn't change this occurrence a bit, just like the weather. It's like the weather just doesn't suit me. Oh, okay, well, I understand. Sometimes it doesn't suit me. But you don't change it. You cannot change it. The only thing you can do is acknowledge it and dress for it. Mm-hmm. Acknowledge it and somehow accommodate it in your life. And even some go to the extent of, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this weather. If you can. You know, let's say it's cold in the snow. Some make a great enjoyment out of the cold and the snow. The summer heat. Some make a great enjoyment about the warm weather and the water and playing in it and whatever. The fall, the visual beauty of it. The spring, the life that comes about. New life that comes. We fit into it in a way that we become part of it. We become part of it. And you were not brought up with this in Watchtower. Watchtower did not bring you up with really any of this. See, what this information does is inserts you or reminds you that you're part of something very large. Mm-hmm. That you, we get to have an understanding in. See, we get to develop an understanding of ourselves. Not a command of what we should be, not listen to it and obey it, and then you'll get the treats. You'll be blessed with these treats that you're looking for. You don't have to think. You don't have to just do this, and according to our schedule, and you will be good. You'll get we'll get our pats on the head. If you don't do it, boy, we'll get punished. See, that's totally different than understanding that we're part of something that we can't control. We're part of it. And it causes us to think. It causes us to think for ourselves, not for someone else. We're working with other people, but we don't. They don't tell us what to think. Now, some of you might feel uncomfortable with this.
You don't have to listen. You don't have to stay on the program. There's no requirement.
My goodness. No, there's some apparently that feel that this might be off topic for, I don't know, for something. Some people that feel that winter is off topic for their life. They don't like winter, so they don't stay around winter. They go someplace where there's never winter.
Yeah.
That gets good.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's your prerogative.
On the other hand, there are those that fit into the changes of nature. We happen to be in an area of the world where we happen to see 4 seasons. And I'll be honest with you, it's a challenge. Oh, it's a real challenge, because it causes us to think about, why are we here? What does this mean for us? How do I respond to it? It really is. It really does that. Well, in a larger way, that's what this eclipse does.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The word transformation might mean one thing to one person and something else to another person. And, we'd like to hear, what you think of when you think of transform. But you had mentioned, we were talking about this, how the earth transforms, goes through different changes.
Oh, my goodness. Look
and
at it.
People transform.
From winter to summer, from winter to spring.
Right.
I mean, I didn't want to step outside of the house because it was so cold. today we were outside. We were looking up at the sun.
Yeah.
It was like
Okay.
the world transformed in front of us.
Yeah. It was like night and day.
Well, what does it say about me?
Yeah.
Do I have that ability to transform? Should I?
Hmm.
Well, how does it affect me?
Yeah.
And see, that's what the astrology, the study of our world above us, helps us to think and consider ourselves.
Hmm.
It doesn't dictate anything. It gives us a format
Hmm.
for understanding. And I'll be honest with you,
Mhm.
if you didn't understand everything that the person was saying about the different signs,
Hmm.
it's because
It's okay.
you never studied it.
Hmm.
Because you may have felt, oh, it's totally irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. You're like, that was your choice. Your choice.
Okay. So Slavika said, we are former JWs. I thought the topic was going to be about that transformation, about transforming from being a JW to an ex-JW. I see what you mean, Slavika.
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, see, and this is where I get it. See, some people have a difficult time looking beyond their former selves.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, we've got a lot of former selves. For example, I was an infant once. I need to look beyond my infancy. I'm not an infant anymore.
And we were also Catholic.
I was Catholic. I've got to transform from Catholic. Okay.
Yeah.
I was so many different things that if we carried all that forward with us, and that's the only thing that we held, we'd never get very far.
Hmm.
And the truth is that we're all on a different path. We're all at a different
That's right.
rate. Everybody takes the steps they take. And
Hmm.
some don't feel comfortable taking very large steps.
Hmm.
For example, like they brought the example of two stones, one stone and in one hand, one stone in the other. And, you get to judge, well, which is yours to carry? Or what's the one that someone gave you? And which is the one that you...
Hmm.
Well, question becomes, do you want to carry stones in your hand? Do you even want to carry stones in your hand?
Mm.
Well, someone gave them to me. They said, this is yours. And, well, is it really? Or is it just the one you took on?
Hmm.
And now you put it down, and it's like, wow, that's different. I don't feel comfortable without those stones. I need the comfort of those stones. Yet those stones don't add anything to your life except weight,
Hmm.
restriction.
Yeah.
And you may feel secure with that.
Yeah. And they also mentioned, what are you willing to put down? The heaviest chains are the ones you refuse to put down. Okay, I can relate this to JW if you want to. We were basically in chains. We had to do things a certain way. We had a certain schedule. There were certain movies we could not see, certain books we could not read. Only read what the Watchtower puts out. Okay, those are chains put around us. So were we willing to put down those chains or break those chains? Yeah, we were. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Well, Rich mentions that transforming means to go beyond. So, okay, so now we go beyond. We're not in the Jehovah's Witnesses anymore. We're out of it. So how can we go beyond it? Are there things in our life right now that we're hanging on to, things that may not be true about ourselves that we kept hanging on to? Is there something there that we can release?
Yeah, and at this point, as I'm thinking about what you're saying, maybe some are thinking, well, I don't want to go forward with this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, in that organization, you, I, all of us would have been expected to go forward. How? In unity, together. everyone, and you look at the one to the left of you, you look at the one to the right of you, and are they going forward? Are they going forward? Oh, they're not going. We all have to go forward. Why? Because they dictated it.
Mhm.
That's not the way here. The question becomes, what do you personally, individually want to do? It's not the way that I want you to go forward, or the way that you're quote unquote expected to. Oh, look, maybe the other person looks says, no, I'm not interested in that at all. That's okay. You're going to go forward another way. You're going to go forward your own different way. What do you think about that? Is
Yeah.
that good? Is that bad? Now you
Yeah.
say, well, if you maybe some even say that, well, if you believed in God, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
you would make, or well, if you believed in Armageddon, blah 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 blah, or if they would kind of keep moving you back into that mold, into that expectation. Well, do you have to? Is that necessary? Do you want to? Should you? Should that other person? Who's it up to? Who has the right to say?
Right.
Who has the right to say? Not me, except for me. I have the right to say for me. You have the right to say for you. I think what happens, a lot of the friends that come out, especially the born-ins, they feel, and I think they don't know how to shake the fact that they were part of a group that had to function as one person. They had to function as if they were one hive and stay close to the hive. And if they left the hive, they would have felt so wrong. And I think the easiest thing for many people to come out is they don't feel comfortable without staying close to the beliefs and the collective feelings of others. Well, it's a big, beautiful world with a lot of people in it. And we don't all have a collective feeling with each other. We don't.
Folks are anxious to come on.
Oh, please.
Okay. Yeah,
Anytime.
we can put the StreamYard link up for those that would like to come on. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
We just like to set the stage. I was just noticing some of the comments. And when you get a chance, Sean, if you can put that up, please. And anyone that is new here, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, we truly appreciate it. It helps it to grow. And Fixing My Faith, they support us wonderfully. So we're on 2 channels. We're on Fixing My Faith and also Joe and Fran. So either one or both, you can subscribe to both. It helps everyone. And
I'm
let's see,
going to make a statement and say it scares the hell out of some people to consider thoughts that Watchtower condemned. See, Watchtower condemned so many things. Oh my goodness, they condemned they condemned birthday parties and so many other things. Well, is that fear still residing in you? That fear of even thinking or allowing yourself to abandon those ideas? For many, it's still the case. There's a fear. And we're all entitled to whatever fear we want to hold, but you have to ask yourself, is that something you want to continue carrying? It's personal. It's very personal. Because the person next to you, they may say, I'm through with that. I am through with that. Another person says, oh, I don't see how you can let go of that. You're foolish.
Mm-hmm.
You're foolish for letting go of that fear. That one thought again about, and I'm not, and about Armageddon. Is it a real fear or is it a manufactured fear? And I'm not here to tell you what it is or what it isn't. I'm not. But that's something that you and others have this mindset about. It's just one thing. It's one thing.
Okay, so the in the chat, if you look at the live chat, the link is in the live chat. Just go there. Just make sure that your YouTube is turned down so we don't get an echo. And it looks like Elaine, let's see, Elaine is in the chat. Where is Elaine? Oh, there you are, Elaine. Okay, add to stage. Okay. Hi, Elaine.
Hello.
Hi, I need to turn YouTube off. Hi, do I need to turn YouTube off?
Yes, please. And
Okay.
yeah, we can hear you through now that you came on the link. And Matthew's coming on board. Hello, Matthew.
Okay.
Okay, Matthew, add to stage. Okay, so we got Elaine and Matthew. Whoops, where'd Matthew go? Try again, Matthew.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a couple of times trying. Our friends from Canada said, love the topic, stepping out of the box. So much we don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Good to dip into everything. Yeah, you don't have to stay. You can just check it out. You don't have to believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for the birthday wishes. Okay, Slavika, add to stage. Where's Slavika? Devices are not connected. So, Slavika, you're going to have to connect your device to the StreamYard. See if you can do that. Okay, Lane, welcome. We can hear you. I think we can. Okay, and we'll try Matthew again. We may have a little trouble, so keep trying. Okay, Matthew, you're on. If you want to unmute yourself, Matthew, and Slavika's on. Okay. Thank you for joining us tonight. Who would like to say something?
Okay.
Make
Well,
sure you.
I was wanting to say something.
Okay, Slavika.
Hello,
welcome.
Slavika.
Hello. Okay, so I'm going to have to say, right off that the Bible warns about astrology, and I believe in God and in the scriptures, and that the scriptures are His word. And I believe that every scripture is inspired of God and beneficial. Now, I know that many people started doubting the Bible, but I believe that it has not lost its message and that it has not been changed or defrauded. I believe that God is in control and only allows to happen what He chooses. So I believe that He has kept, the Bible's message intact, and that He has not allowed the truth of His word to be changed or distorted.
Okay.
So these are my beliefs. And of course, everyone is entitled to their own beliefs, but I am definitely open to give reasons for my beliefs or answer questions.
Well,
But I wanted
Slavika, I appreciate I understand that, but it's before this starts coming into a preaching session, we're not interested in preaching here.
Well, no, I'm not preaching, but by the same token, I was not interested in all that you had to say either. Okay.
Well, that's quite all right.
And yet you said what you said, and didn't let anyone tell you that they were not in agreement. Now,
well, it's okay. I don't care. See, personally, I don't care if they're in agreement.
well,
That's not the consideration.
Don't agree with my beliefs, okay? So the only reason that I came here tonight was to talk about the transformation, okay? Because this program was supposed to be about transformation.
Okay, good. Okay.
Do you wanna let me speak, or do you want me to go?
Well, yeah. No, please tell me about transformation that you think the transformation.
Okay, this is why I came. Okay, so I made my transformation the moment that I realized that the governing body is a false prophet, is an
Okay.
apostate, is a fraud, is a cult, interested only in money and profit. Okay, so they joined the government and the pharmaceuticals,
Right.
and we all know when that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was my awakening from
Right.
that cult, and we know all that they have done, and they
Right.
are actually guilty of murder. They have murdered millions of people, by going along with the government's. This is my belief, and
Right.
telling people that they took the vaccine and blah blah blah. And
Okay. Okay.
anyway, so
Well,
where has
Well,
that?
I have to interject here. We're really not here for that, Slavika.
Okay, so the
We're
transformation.
we're really not here for that. That's something that they're going to take care of themselves. The government's going to take care.
Okay, you're cutting me off without letting me finish my thought.
Well, we may not
You're not
want
letting me
to.
finish my thought. You're cutting me off without letting me finish my thought.
Give her time.
Okay, I was not going to continue talking about the governing body. I
Okay.
was not going to continue
Well,
about
well,
that.
just
I
take a
wanted to
minute or
talk
two.
about
Just
my
just
transformation. Am I allowed to tell why I believe that my transformation happened?
well,
That I
take a
no
minute,
longer-
a minute or two.
Okay, so now you're giving me a time limit to
Yes.
express myself.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
We are. We are.
We have other people
We
that
are,
would like to
Slavika.
speak too.
A minute or
Slavika.
two, please, please.
Okay, now how long did you have with your
Oh, dear.
video, and how long
Dear
you spoke?
Slavika,
Okay.
Slavika, I think you need a forum for yourself. This is not the forum for what you're trying to do. Please,
Well, you're not
please
even-
respect.
you're not
Please
even
respect
letting me
that.
tell
You're
anybody
right. That's
what-
correct. That's
what
correct.
my
We're not.
transformation is about.
Please respect the fact that this is not the forum for
Okay,
pushing
give me
that
2
agenda.
minutes. Okay, here we go. 2 minutes. All
Okay.
right,
2
fine.
minutes. 2 minutes.
Let's do it your
Okay.
way. Okay, since you want to be in control of everything.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
2 minutes.
All right. So here's my transformation. My transformation is, yes, I realize who the governing body is, but that doesn't mean that I have left God or my beliefs or the Bible. Okay. Now everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but that is mine. My transformation is I still believe in God and the Bible and everything that it teaches. Okay, so what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that?
We're
And
not
what is
judging
wrong-
it.
Okay, and what is wrong with my encouraging people, okay, to
Oh,
continue believing the
no.
Bible, to continue
Yes.
believing?
Honestly, no. See, we're not here for that. No,
Okay, so
seriously,
you're opposite
Slavika.
yourself.
Seriously. No, I'm very
And you
serious.
don't believe in
I'm very
God.
serious, Slavika.
And so you don't
I'm
allow
very
anyone
serious.
else to believe in
No,
God.
I'm going to interject and interrupt you. Right, we are not here for doing that. We are not. This forum. This is for encouraging
For
people to
who don't
think.
believe in God. This forum is for people who don't believe in God.
Is that what you say?
Okay, isn't that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not telling you that, Slavika. Slavika, I'd like to let someone. Thank you, Slavika. Thank you, Slavika. Thank you so much. Thank you, Slavika. I'm going to ask you to
2
listen,
minutes.
listen rather than more talk.
Yeah,
more.
we've got
Really.
other people
Slavika,
that would like
thank
to
you.
talk.
There'll be another forum where I'm sure what you have to offer is going to be helpful, but it's not helpful here. It's just not.
Okay, okay, goodbye.
Bye, Slavika. Okay, and Elaine and Matthew are with us. We'd love to hear from you too, whether you
Yeah, I
agree or
got cut
disagree,
off.
or you know. What your
Yeah.
thoughts are.
I got cut off and I got back on. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Glad
Yes,
you
we
did,
can.
Elaine.
Thank you, Elaine.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I just wanted to share what I enjoyed about the video. It it opened my mind up, that maybe astrology can have some power in your life. I have that reserved on a shelf somewhere. I don't follow astrology, but the points they brought out were very good about when it's time to let go of something.
Mm-hmm.
We need we need to realize that we may be carrying something too heavy. And for me, I have recognized some things recently, and I won't talk about them. but that I had to let go. And I am learning as I go. I'm what can I say? I'm the kind of person that will, if I have a relationship with someone, I carry the role of being empathetic. But if someone turns on me
Mhm.
and lies about me, I will let go. I will let go. And I'm getting better about that. But that
Mm.
was something I got out of that video,
No,
that
that's
when
Nice.
transformation.
something is too heavy, we
Yeah,
weren't meant to carry it.
that's
We
right.
weren't
That's right.
meant to carry it. Thank
That's
That's
right.
right.
you. It's very
No,
good.
Oh
It
no,
thank
was
you,
very
Elaine.
good.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Elaine.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
personal thing.
yeah,
Whatever any of us are going through, it's a personal thing. And like it said, tonight before we go to bed, take a piece of paper if you want to and write down the truth I have been avoiding is, and it's going to be different for everyone. And then just fold it, put it on the table, and then go to sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, then you can read it.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
See,
Yeah.
there's so many tools that we were forbidden from. These were tools. If you figure that all the tools in in the toolbox of what's the of Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight's filled with tools. Okay, all the tools there. Um, you were forbidden to use most of the tools. There were just certain tools, only those tools, and it may have been hard to really accomplish what you personally would have wanted to accomplish. But you
Hmm.
could have if you had more tools. Well, now those tools are available. They always have been. And there's basically billions of people around the world who are using all of the tools. And this is something that we can be open to. More tools than you ever could imagine.
That's
You're
good.
free to do it.
Good
We're
point. Yeah.
free to do it.
Mm.
Thank you,
Oh,
Elaine.
Yeah.
oh, I like that point. Yeah.
Matthew, did you want to say anything or add to it or anything on your mind?
Well, it's good to be with you. I appreciate this space. I think what's the most healing thing to think of? The most healing thing to think of is this is a safe space. It's a space of friendship where you can explore, you don't have to agree, and it's also okay if it's not your framework as well.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I realize that sometimes a person wants to be validated, or they might feel that they're being spoken at or have to put up with something. And that's probably echoes of sunburn, eh? Lack of consent or lack of representation or fear of a doctrinal drift. So I just remember that, some of these things, they resurface, and we can't always control our trauma. But it's not about proving something, it's just about having some kind of free exploration, and most of it is actually friendship. That's what
Mhm.
I think.
Thank you for saying that. That is XJW Friends, and we like to hear what people have on their minds, and we don't all have to agree, but we do have to be respectful
Yeah,
of each other's feelings.
and this is an interesting thing about friendship that I just basically experienced again in another way is friends don't always mean um, pleasant relations.
Right.
They don't. Because in some situations, when the pleasantness, for some reason, starts to drift away from a relationship, that's the test of a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Will I say the thing or do the thing that other person needs to know? Because if I do, It's going to take the pleasantness away.
Like being honest.
If I'm honest now, it's going to disrupt this, because this person is basically clueless or resistant to something that is really kind of crucial. Now, if the people say, well, I don't need them, my friend. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm not going to go there. I just don't want this kind of situation in my life. It doesn't mean that much to me. I'm out of here. On the other hand, if you take a breath and choose to express that which is needed at the time, well, it might very seriously cause stress. But why did you do it? Out of friendship, out of the willingness to be something that person needed. And you were the one who took the risk, or they were the one, either way, that took the risk to deliver it to you. It's a gift. It's a gift.
What does Jordan Peterson always say? Not all conversations are
pleasant,
but they are
could be, well, he said,
necessary.
Of utility. They could be really useful.
Yeah.
Really, really. In other words, it'll better the person.
Right.
It's like, no one ever said that to me before.
Yeah.
And it stung, or at least I didn't know why, but I'm glad you did. I appreciate that. And so that's part of friendship. I mean, it really is.
And that really is the proof of a good friendship, if they can still, get along afterwards and take the criticism or the, what do they call it?
Helpful,
yeah.
Insight.
Yeah.
Call it insight.
Right.
We all benefit from the insight.
Yeah.
It is very, very tricky, isn't it? Because, for many of us, we don't want to lose our anchors. And then when somebody says, well, I don't want to be preached to, what does that often mean? It means I don't want a new authority replacing the old one. I had my fill of abuse, Yeah. And what is it? It's trying to avoid a negative captivity, isn't it? Being stifled again. Because our time is precious. I think of the Andrade poem. I don't know who might be familiar with that, but he says, my soul has a hat. He says, when I was a child, I had a bag full of sweets, but as I got older, the sweets got fewer, and so I savored them. So with the limitations of time, we're now going, well, hang on, I've got to be very careful with how I manage my time. I don't want to become captive to something that's harmful anymore,
Right.
That's so true. So true. Yeah.
Anyway, it's good to be with you, and we will get better and better at it, and we will try to expand the safety as much as possible. And maybe one day we don't get it quite right, but there's always another day, isn't there?
Yeah. I don't know any way of saying it, but it's risky. I know you mentioned safe, and wow, childbirth isn't safe. and we won't come about if it wasn't for that huge risk that a person have been willing to take. Huge risk. I mean, the mother could die, the baby they both could die. There's risks involved in gain. And boy, anyone thinking that everything's going to go sweet and pleasant in situations is got a lot to learn. They've got a lot to learn.
So that's the theme of transformation, isn't it? I mean, I think of a father, or I think of a mother that has no idea about having a child, or a father who's got no idea that he's going to raise a child, and how they change mentally when the child arrives, or a mother that's now given birth after all of that pain, and the little child is now on the breast and drinking milk, and all those pains are forgotten. I mean, it's all transformed.
Yeah.
It's the circle of life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't always go that pleasantly. I mean, you think of the times that, life is really interesting. I mean, it is transformational, and transformation is not always pleasant. It is not. I mean, just think of going from young to old. It's a transformation. But I mean, how many people are going to say, "Oh, that's so pleasant. It's so pleasant aging"? Well, it may not be totally pleasant. Aging may not be totally pleasant. In fact, it may not be at all for some. Living one more day for some people is not pleasant, and and they do things about that.
Looking at some of the comments, and PEPS 1975 says, I think we are all frightened to find ourselves in a situation where we no longer have a belief in life after death. That is a very
I would say
topic.
that is really, that's something that, how do I want to say this?
It is real.
That's a good point.
Many people really don't have that fear at all. They really don't. It's just so that you know about that. But many people do. And see, the churches and religions happen to exploit that fear that group of people has. It's a reality. Many people simply do not have that fear of life after death, of anything life after death.
That's where research comes in, because there's so many different ways to look at it. And, you may find something that you're comfortable following.
Yeah.
That's a personal thing.
Yeah. Who of us here is going to say, look, I'll tell you what it's about. It's when you die, it's all this. And lay it out as if I knew better. Well, I simply don't know better. And the point becomes, if you're listening to someone else who thinks they know better, basically you're just adopting their views, their religion, their belief. I ask people who ask us, for example, they know that we left that religion. And so I said, well, have you settled in on anything else? And I said, well, no, we're not looking for another religion. And then I'll ask them, I says, what's your religion? I mean, do you have religion? And they might state a religion. And then I ask them, is that your religion? Did you come up with that religion? Of course they didn't come up with that religion. They heard it from a man, and they adopted that man-based religion, man-professed religion. So is it their religion? I said, no. It's the one they've adopted. Well, the next day they could adopt another religion. And so when someone would ask them, are you of a different religion? Yeah, I'm another religion now. Hello, Dallas.
Hiya, Dallas.
Well,
Hi, Dallas.
there. I thought I'd be here and drop by.
Thank you.
I'm glad you dropped by.
Good to see you, Dallas.
Yeah, I thought I'd stop by and just see how y'all doing here.
Hi, Dallas.
Wow.
Great. Thank you, Dallas.
What you eating, Dallas?
You know what it is? I want you know what it is? It's what style that is? It's St. Louis style pizza.
St. Louis style pizza.
It's thin, it's cracker thin crust, and it's cracker thin, and they don't use mozzarella. It's Prevail.
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 which is a St. Louis thing mostly,
A really thin crust.
and it's sliced in squares, not wedges.
Oh, okay. Sliced in squares, huh?
And you
So-
can order on
Is that for square
on
people?
Go Bailey, which is, and look for emos. That's where you, or you order the Provel there.
Provan. Never heard of that. Wow.
They mail order it, do they?
Yeah. I'd love if you could try some.
Oh, we see it. Well, thank
You
you.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe and Fran, I wanted to ask you, when you're talking about what's pleasant and what isn't, it sounds to me like you're endeavoring to bring it together, not just as transformation, but as integration. Is integration the right kind of thing?
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's right. I was just trying to tie in the themes that have been coming through, like the eclipse, powerful metaphor for that.
Right. Well, they talk about integrating. I mean, you mentioned integrating. When you said that, they usually say you integrate your shadow into your life, and the shadow is the you that you don't want to admit to. But it's you, but yet it follows you, and until you somehow acknowledge it and consider how it fits or doesn't fit, or how it should fit in your life, it's overshadowing you. In other words, it's something that's always going to be a burden. It's going to be a burden, and it may even in your subconscious derail your whole personality. It could do that. But who wants to look at things that are not very attractive in ourselves? We don't want to do that until we realize, I think I have to. I need to do this. How do I do it? How do I make this transformation, so to speak?
Just a point in the chat, Diane Lowe. I really appreciate your, empathy, and we really don't know what a person has gone through growing up. And yes, some people were raised very harsh, and it has an effect on them. And they do the best that they can, but it does, come across that way. I know we knew a sister, and she was from Germany, and she went through World War II as a child. And when she told us some of the horrific things that she went through, we kind of, realized why she was the way she was. So you really do feel for people that have had very difficult backgrounds, upbringing. So
well, see,
appreciate
and
that.
this is where transformation comes in. If you again look at the weather, look at the seasonal change, look at the harshness of winter.
Mm-hmm.
The harshness of winter doesn't last forever, but it lasts, and it makes you suffer, but then it gives way to the relief of spring, and then even more to the warming of a whole nother growth season, or the summer. And it's like a model for us. You mentioned how it's a metaphor for us. It's more than a metaphor, it's a reality. See, it's an actual reality for our existence. If it's just simply a metaphor, we're missing the power of that transformation, because we're every one of us has gone through some harshness.
Mm-hmm.
If we carry it with us,
Right.
for example, if the 4 seasons of our year was winter and that was it, that would be a pretty rough life.
Mhm.
Some places it's that way.
Mhm.
Well, I think there's something very providential. We were as humans with minds and brains and the ability to imagine. As I say, spirituality is made up of three factors. It's imagination, empathy, and intuition. With those three abilities that we have and the things that we have around us, like changing seasons, celestial bodies, other people, we have the tools to make these, to go through these difficult circumstances and survive, not even just survive, and to thrive. And when you think about it,
Mhm.
you go through tough winters, rough winters. Well, in the summertime, you're laying around and you're just loving it. It's beautiful. Same place. What changed? The weather. What transformed? The weather. And you are enjoying it. Well, that's our lives need to be that way too. I mean, our lives need that kind of transformation. Otherwise, we go through a lifetime of winter, dark winter, cold winter. Just think of that. I mean, when I discovered that one concept of spirituality being imagination, intuition, empathy, those traits that we possess, as we practice those and extend them in ways that Watchtower never allowed us to, by the way. See, Watchtower never allowed you or me to practice my empathy. Oh, when we were out in service, if we wanted to, give somebody a few dollars because they were hungry or whatever, oh boy, we don't do that, brother. Just get, oh, well, geez, intuition, feeling that, seeing things and knowing things that no one tells you, but yet you feel it and you see it and you sense that. Oh, no, well, you're out of line. And imagination, empathy, intuition. These are traits that we need. I mean, as humans, we need. Dogs don't need them. Dogs don't need those three things.
Mhm.
You don't rely on your dog for his imagination.
Yeah. Happy Thoughts says those who have come out of any high controlled organization have taken different paths so that we all may have different opinions and perspectives.
Absolutely.
And we are allowed that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the only way you're going to do that, to take those different paths, is to exercise your personal imagination, your intuition,
Sheila's good at this. I mean, there's so many times that I hear Sheila coming with a down-to-earth framework. And of course, the space isn't asking for us to surrender frameworks. It's just saying, well, when transformation is framed as widening without erasing, or adding without replacing, or exploring without coercing, then the nervous system calms down. And Sheila, I'm a big fan.
There's in contrast to that, you said exploring. When we mentioned to someone who was in the organization, a quote unquote friend, a longtime friend of our concerns, the first words out of his mouth is, "Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't explore that one.
Yeah.
Oh no, off limits.
We said we're not going to meetings anymore, and that's all we had to say.
Don't go there. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any bit of that."
Yeah.
Well, that was so many things. This is control that human beings cannot live as free beings under. You can't. So I've come to accept the fact that there are some people that are more comfortable with a master over them. than they are living with their freedom. And that's their choice. You know, they seek a master for security and clarity. And if they don't have one, they feel very insecure. Well, that's their choice. That is their choice. And we're seeing people exercise that choice in religion today. There's so many people leaving religion, all religions. There's some to the extent where they don't want a master over them. In their words, a sky daddy. In other words, a master over them, much higher, that is there. You know, they simply, they do not want that. Well, it's their choice. On the other hand, there are those who cling to the idea of that supreme something over them. Personal, very personal, very personal. So the question can, and this was proven that not all people accepted these things. The Catholic religion proved it when Constantine developed that religion, and he used the basement of the church to coerce people, to torture people who wouldn't accept it. Well, apparently their choice didn't matter. It says you will or else. And that's what religion began as, a forced. And fear works. Fear just works in the minds of people. It works very, very, very well, unfortunately. But it's not liberating. It's the opposite. Fear is enslaving. And so people are asking themselves, do I want to live with fear anymore? No, I simply do not want to live with fear. On the other hand, there are others that are still grappling with this.
Someone
Like
want to
Mama
say?
Bear's comment there. Did you see that, Fran? Mama Bear.
Oh yeah, Mama Bear. Which one, Matthew?
Says, I love learning other perspectives,
Yeah.
seeing things through a different lens.
Yeah, and before that, she said, I loved the freedom I had when I pursued other spiritual studies. Almost 30 years of freedom now. Congratulations to you.
Yeah. No, people are shocked when they find out that, especially now with the internet, because there's a freedom of exchange of people's beliefs, whereas they didn't do that before. They couldn't do it before. There was never a forum large enough to contain the world's views on things. To find out that there are people that would rather be enslaved, and there are people that would rather exercise personal freedom. There's differences. And who's to say what it should be?
Yeah. I don't know if this is meant for everyone or us, but Peps asks, what was harder for you guys, waking up from Watchtower or losing your faith in the Bible? You want to answer that? Or anybody here?
I have a thought on that.
Yeah, Elaine.
Well, I describe myself as needing the cult. I came in as a teenager. So I view a cult structure as a blanket or a daddy or a mama or somebody's watching over me, and somebody wants me to do the right thing, so I'll do it. And I had that mentality for many years.
Yeah.
But now what happened, I looked for another blanket. I
Yeah.
looked for about 5 or 6 years. I looked and looked and looked, and I went and I asked people questions, that were in a religion. I'd say, well, you mean you were a JW who didn't believe in hell and now you do? And it shocked me. It was a shock because I went to a JW meetup that turned out to be a recruiting place for some part of Christianity, and saying, "Hey, join us, come to our church, or join us." And I was very uh, I was very gracious and respectful, but I truly did search people's minds for why
Mhm.
they believed. How could they
Mhm.
believe in hellfire now? I go, well, what, you want to believe in hellfire? And I'd say, I don't understand,
Yeah.
So what I had to do was, people might jump out of one uh,
Mm-hmm.
form of dogma into another, and that's their freedom. And I said, well, no, thank you, because I looked into it carefully. And what the sad part for me, it was harder to give up that well, for me, now this is just for me. I don't, I gave up on a belief in any God, and now I'm open minded. I'm looking at other things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And other beliefs, but I'm very, I don't have that fear that some people have. Well, what about when you have to stand before the pearly gates and answer to God for your life? And I'm like, I don't have that anymore. I don't feel that I was, well, I don't know why I'm born here, for number one. I don't know why I exist. So until I know why I exist, I'm not willing to give my allegiance to any authority that hurts other people. I
Yeah.
know religions hurt people.
Yeah.
So I say, well, if you want to believe in that, that's good for you. And it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, serves a purpose,
Mm.
a purpose of comfort.
Yeah.
The hardest thing for me after the JW deconstruction is deconstructing from altogether, everything. I mean, everything. And just going through life with an open mind and,
Mhm.
doing research. So I would say
Mm-hmm.
it's been harder after the JW cult for me to develop a much wider view of life, and what might be out there. What might be out there? I don't know. I can't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Right.
imagine, but I can imagine, but I can't tell you for sure. But
It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay not to know.
You see, that
yeah.
idea of certainty is what the witnesses were dangling in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
They
Well, all
said,
religions, all of the versions of Christianity put out a hope,
yeah,
a
yeah,
hope, and for me, I have to admit, I mean, I didn't question Jesus saying to me in the Bible, "I'll give you eternal life." Well, you really have to be already educated to be able to stand up to that. You have to have seen different world points on that. For me, I couldn't resist it. I mean, to me, for somebody to stand in front of me and say, "You have eternal life," is there is no defense for that. In
right.
other words, only in my mind, only a stupid person would turn that away. Like, oh, you'd have to be stupid to turn that away. Well, I'll be honest. I've been out of the JW doctrine and I looked into the other Christianities. I'll be honest. Uh, I want to know if there is such a thing as eternal life. I want to
It,
know, but
it,
I can't. I have to live without knowing. So,
You know, Elaine, the way I see it, who's going to tell me what eternal life is?
Right. Who?
Well, I mean, show me someone who's lived eternal life.
Yep.
Now tell me.
Tell me
Okay.
someone.
And this thing, life everlasting. And how do I know I want to live forever? How do I know what's going to happen later on? It's like, oh my God, I don't want to be here now. Had I known this, I would never have agreed to it.
I have the same frustration of why am I here? What is consciousness? What is it? Where did it come
Yeah.
from? What, I mean, we look at the universe and
Yeah.
it's impossible to understand the universe. So we can't understand how we got here. So I have the same feeling about eternal life. I don't know.
You know, I think
don't know.
the closest to any certainty, personal certainty that we are assuring us is when, and I said this before, and I heard it many times, lying in the dark, it's silence around you, in your own thoughts. You will tell yourself what you are, what you need, what is and what isn't for you. But you have to listen to yourself
Well,
rather
we
than
have to take responsibility that we have life and we have to make something of it. We have to exist and we have to make something of it. But my frustration is if I can conceive of eternal life, my brain, can conceive of it, then maybe it exists. I don't know anything else. I have no other way to deny it. And in deep inside, I would like to know that my consciousness goes on forever, and there are beliefs that we are eternal already, and that we're already eternal, but we don't remember. Okay, this is the thing. I remember someone saying, "You just can't remember your previous life," and I'm like, "But what's the point?" I get frustrated.
Interesting that some people claim that they can remember. And I can't.
Well,
I
yeah,
can't
the past
dispute.
life,
I can't dispute that. Yeah, I cannot dispute that either. I can't dispute that.
Yeah, I have never looked into it, but I've heard these different theories, and all I can say is interesting. That's interesting.
It is. See, and this is why religions pick up people, because the information is free floating, and many people are uncomfortable with how free floating it is. They need to nail something down. I'm not comfortable with all these different stray thoughts. I need something concrete. Oh, religion comes along and says, well, here, we got some concrete.
Here's the answer. Here's the answer.
We got it for you.
Adam and Eve and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, all right.
The other question, who asked it, Steve? And I want to respond to that. Thank you, Elaine. Really.
When that was Pep's.
Waking up.
Yeah, did you lose your faith in the Bible?
In the Bible. This is interesting. And this kind of helps to answer the question. We were traveling a short trip, and there was a big billboard that said, "Have you read the Bible lately?" And I thought to myself, I says, well, I've read the Bible before. I know it's in it. Then I thought, well, why has it changed again? The Bible's gone through so many different changes. And there were men that got together and figured out what it should say in it. They really were. If you don't realize that, do a little more research and find out that God didn't, come down with his finger and write the words in the Bible.
Right.
It's men who wrote them.
So was it harder for you waking up from the watchtower or losing your faith in the Bible?
For me, it was the Bible. For me.
The Bible. It was easier to wake up from the watchtower. They're a bunch of thieves.
They make it easy. Yeah.
They're horrible. But the Bible, I grew up with the Bible. in the Catholic religion.
Yeah.
But then realized, I get it. It's an incredible resource
Mm-hmm.
of something.
Yeah.
It's not true history. There's some history in it. There is some, but if you look at it strictly history, it's not all real.
Yeah.
Each book is different.
Yeah, there's principles in there that are tremendous principles for us.
Someone said, "Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater," and I agree.
Someone said you got to learn how to chew down the meat and spit out the bones.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I agree on that one too.
Yeah.
I agree with Joe. That there are principles that are really good. Jesus principles.
Oh,
There's,
You mean be poor and roam the earth?
What's
in
that?
poverty? Jesus teaches be in poverty. Be in poverty and don't marry. I mean, if you really look at the cult of Jesus by himself, he teaches be in poverty and don't marry. Who can follow that?
Were those Jesus words
Elaine,
or were
I
those
question
Paul's
whether or not
words?
those were his words.
Right.
I don't think.
Wait a minute. Let me think. Well, his behavior in the Bible. Well, his behavior in the Bible was to be in poverty. And, the word of God, you can live on the word of God. You can sustain yourself on the word of God. That's something that he taught.
Well, okay.
It turns out to not be true.
What bothered me? I tell you, one of the sayings where he said, you will always have the poor.
Yeah, right.
Now, if that's true, and if he possessed that much power, basically and you find it, and I would say to him, and you find that acceptable?
Right.
If you could do something about it, why wouldn't you? That's a troubling situation or statement that I heard. You will always have the poor.
That is troubling.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you do any,
that's what governments say.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they don't fix it, because they say, there'll always be poor people.
Right. If you go beyond the Bible, if you do any research in Gnosticism, which we have brought out videos, Joseph Alien said, like the Gospel of St. Thomas, which the Rome Church banned.
Yeah.
So, it's like,
there's so many gospels.
So many things.
There are other gospels that have been banned. Why have been banned?
Right, because they didn't want us to know.
Yeah, so much to learn. Yeah.
There is. It's exciting.
Yeah.
The other thing that's looming ahead of us now is what's going on in the world. For example, this war in Iran, which I am not going to state that I know much of, but it's something that it's going to have some effect on the way we live after this. And there's other things too that are going to change that I'm personally going to have absolutely no control over. None.
Right.
Zero control. My life may change somewhat. The question becomes, how do I retain the ability to transform, to change my point of view so that I don't suffer tremendous distress?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People had to go through that in the Bible times too, when there was a transformation, a changeover. But see, we never consider that. But now we're going through a time of transformation. We really are.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do?
Mm-hmm.
How do we approach that personally to retain?
Well, there is some truth that we can develop. We can look for our own truth, but we can also face truth. Just a general thing that maybe everyone's faced, if they can, is that there's evil and good in the world, period. I mean, has always been evil and there has always been good. And mankind, it has a self-destructive part of him that comes out. And we could talk about all the evil in the world, the different forms of evil. But for me, what I've accepted is that whether or not evil conquers good or good conquers evil is to be seen, but I only live so long, so I won't see the final
Gotcha.
story.
Yeah.
I won't see the final story, but I will go to my grave praying, not praying because I'm not praying to anyone, but praying in the sense of how I feel
Your
is
life
that
is your
I
life.
hope my grandchildren will have a good life. That's all I can do because
Yeah.
I won't be here to stop the evil.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
won't be
you
here
can't.
to protect them,
Then you. I know. I know.
and I just accept that. I feel it's a truth that
You have
if
to.
you look at the human nature uh, of history from the beginning, there's always been mankind has a self-destructive part
Elaine,
to
can we
their.
call that the shadow? What if,
Okay,
for example, what if
okay,
personally we all have a shadow of that self that
yeah,
isn't good? Maybe it's a
yeah.
shadow of mankind. Maybe that's going to be integrated. You know, maybe that'll
Well,
be
I hope
integrated.
the good conquers the evil, but I mean, man has been here. Well, there's theories about it, how long we've been here,
Yeah,
and they believe that mankind or life on Earth has cycled about 6 or 7 times
yeah, yeah,
over
yeah.
millions and billions of years. And I'm thinking, the big picture is that man is self-destructive. But if he can pull out of that, then things will work out.
Well,
But
what they've seen, what they found is that there's always an interruption. Something interrupts
Mhm.
that destructive activity.
Mhm.
Something interferes with where they can't do it anymore
No.
because there's
yeah,
some cataclysm that happened, and now they've got
right.
to retreat.
And then there's a reset and
Yeah.
start all over again.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I really don't. I listen to people's ideas and I look into physics and I
Yeah.
look into
Well,
the
see,
universe
that's
and I
our nature.
open my mind. Hmm.
That's our nature. That's our
Yeah,
nature, and
yeah.
it's that's freeing. And I appreciate you expressing all that. I really do, Elaine.
Well, me and my philosophies.
Whoa,
But
look, better than preaching. I
well, sometimes I feel like I am preaching, but it's more
mean,
to
I didn't,
to myself.
I didn't
It's
hear any.
to myself. It's
I
not to
didn't hear
you
any preaching. Yeah,
or
well, okay,
anybody.
well, we do that. I didn't hear any preaching. I heard exploring. That's what I
Oh,
heard.
okay. Yeah.
I truly appreciate it.
Entropy.
Oh,
Wild Wall talks about entropy.
Oh boy, getting
Entropy.
physical.
Entropy happens.
It
Okay.
really happens.
Now I got to look that up. Wild.
yeah, me
There's
too.
a
Entropy.
four-letter word that happens too.
Oh,
Entropy.
okay. Entropy. Entropy is a scientific concept measuring disorder, randomness, or uncertainty, central to physics,
Oh,
information theory, and other fields, stating that isolated systems naturally tend to move from order to disorder,
Yeah,
with energy becoming less available for work.
yeah,
Yeah, I've heard that.
yeah. In other words,
that's
things go through
interesting.
cycles of from disorder to order, back
Mhm.
to disorder, and it's
Yeah.
like, what's going on here?
We do that in our homes. We'll get everything, we'll be on a project and everything will be in disorder, because you got to use all these different tools. And then when the project is over, okay, now we can get it back in order again. So, we do that
Good
every
point.
day.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's a
mean,
good
look,
point.
our bodies go through that
Yeah.
day to night, day to
Right,
night, day to
right.
night.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Stan said it's a breakdown of complicated structures to simple, not disorder, just different.
Mhm.
it's like the food cycle: eating
Yeah,
food and then going to something else.
Going
We're made that way.
Matthew says Tom Campbell. We'll check him out, Matthew. Tom Campbell.
Thank you all. Thank you all for
Yeah, we appreciate
contributing.
the discussion.
Yep. No answers here, just discussion.
We're all looking. We're looking for answers.
We all are.
Yeah, we all are.
That's right.
But in the meantime, we do what Vern says.
Oh, keep living our lives with love.
That's it.
That's
Love is
right.
the answer. Love is the
Well,
answer.
We have to choose that. We have to
That's
choose love. We have to
That's
choose
right.
it, though. It doesn't come naturally. We have to choose it.
That's
Well,
right.
to me, that's
I
like the prayer that we live. That's a prayer.
Mhm.
It was a really, really great show tonight. Some very interesting conversation.
Thank
just
you,
very,
Shauna.
very well done. Yeah, it was very interesting to watch. So I just wanted to take a final moment here just to invite everybody to the Discord server. We'll put that up in the description underneath this video when we're done. I believe the first Saturday of every month, Ruby is going to host a video for us there, and that will be either 7 or 9 p.m. Eastern, but just watch on the Discord server. We will let you know when that's going to happen. As Joe and Fran mentioned earlier, please take a moment to check out the website. There's lots of good resources, help, and just fun stuff happening on there. So I would appreciate if you could check that out. So thank you, Joe and sorry.
Shauna, I'll jump in just a second. And I would offer anyone, if they, just as we offer and present alternative ways of looking at things, if anyone wants to suggest that, different things that you found on the internet or anywhere in your research that help open our minds and challenge our thinking, let us know. Let us know.
Oh, thank
Yep.
you.
For sure. You can send any of that information to mail@xjwfriends.com or to J&F Carino. One moment. Can't talk
Or
about
call
it.
us.
And
Just call
there we
us.
go. And
There's
or
the phone
email
number.
or call the number on the screen. So yeah, just remember they're on Eastern Standard Time, everybody.
Yeah.
So thank you guys, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the moderators in the chat. Thank you to Joe and Fran for your time again, for Dallas and Matthew and Slavika and Elaine for taking the time to join us on stage tonight. And thank you to everybody in the chat. We love doing it. So
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Fine.
for joining.
Fine.
We love you all.
Grazie.
And we'll keep living our lives with love.
right
Yeah.
on.
We hope to
Have
see
a-
you again. See
Yeah,
you
have a
next
great
time.
week, everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Good
Thank you.
night. Love you.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Ciao, ciao.
And ciao, y'all.
Ciao, y'all. I
See
like
that
that.
Provel cheese at the
That's what it looks like.
Oh, provolone and
Provolone.
It's Provel. It's a
It's Provel.
combination of provolone, Swiss, white cheddar
wow.
with a smoky, tangy. It's tangy, being lightly sour. The texture is more like the candle wax, but softer rather than stringy. It's not stringy at all.
Have to
Oh,
check it out.
you've tempted us. Thanks.
Yes, I did catch a comment on Discord or somewhere where they're talking about how Dallas likes to talk about what he eats. And you make a lot of people hungry, Dallas, so you're going to have to start making samples for everybody or something. All right?
I'd love if I could. I'd love to be able to.
I know.
If it, and I think that I share other things on sometimes my personal life and other things on different websites. Sometimes a video.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
And sometimes photos of my personal life photos with certain friends there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Another reason for everybody here to join Discord. So we hope to see you there. Have a great
Love
week,
you.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Grazie.
Bye.
And ciao,
Bye.
y'all, and arrivederci, y'all.